What a freaking year, man. Um, First of all, this is all gonna look crazy, y'all. This is gonna be the final episode recorded in this room for Stand on Business. That's right, I am moving. I am leaving Brooklyn and headed to Harlem, y'all. So say goodbye to this space. Take one last good look, breathe in of this environment because it's not gonna be here the next time you see me.
More money, more problems. It's just the way it is.
Black people do not own or run. Maybe I should just say run. Maybe that's the key. Black people do not run anything in this world. I feel like it's not a bold statement, right? I feel like a lot of people recognize that, right? We're talking big level, right? You might own some land. You might own a company. You might even own your car. But that's not what I'm talking about. When it comes to the way the world runs, the powers that be, the long table that have the mass faces, that after the meetings everybody goes downstairs and a bell rings and people start undressing. Black people don't run that. That organization, things that change, things that start wars, things that drive stocks, things that crash markets. Black people do not run those instances. And when they try to, when they get to even a sniffs of a position near that table, well, I think things start to crumble around them. Why do I say all this? I say all this because we're going to look at the history now of what has got to be certainly one of the biggest, if not the biggest story of all time in hip hop, and possibly the biggest story in, I don't want to be naive and say the world right now, right? Because we've got wars going on, billionaires dying, children missing. Feels like there should be bigger news than this, but is it really bigger? Is there a face that's more plastered all over the place more than Diddy's? I mean, we can start from the beginning. We could do, who is Diddy? Who was the guy born in Harlem, raised in Mount Vernon? Who is the individual that goes on to find names, some of the biggest names in hip hop, like Biggie? We could say, I don't know, this all starts with the show that brought us Danity Kane, Day 26. Hell, for some people old enough who remember rocking it, we could even talk about his clothing line, Sean John. That was everywhere. It was on the streets. If you was in the know and you happened to be fly, you had Sean John something on. Yeah, now I want to move further along in time, to actually a time that's not so long ago. May 2023. What happens in May 2023 that has any type of significance, possibly, to what we're seeing today? Okay, so May 2023, what do we know? We know that Diddy sued Diageo, the liquor brand, saying that they were marketing his tequila, his vodka, as an urban brand, which is another word for right? This is for the black community, and Diddy felt like it wasn't getting the same respect that some of the other brands underneath the Diageo umbrella were getting, like the George Clooney tequila. So he's saying, y'all owe me a bunch of money. Diageo is saying, no, that's not true. You didn't hold up your end of the bargain. We've invested hundreds of millions of dollars in this, and you've only invested $1,000. You're not honoring your part of the commitment, so we're upset at you. They eventually end up settling, and nobody seems to know the amount. Nobody seems to know what it is they agreed, but it is said, and it's right here, we just read it. The months-long legal dispute between Mr. Combs and Diageo had aired international business and personal grievances in court filings. The claims are both large in scale. Mr. Combs' lawsuit accused Diageo of employing language about diversity and equality while shortchanging him as a black partner, and Minute, I don't know what that part is, with Mr. Combs charging that a bottle redesign involved stickers that were prone to bubbling, making the product look cheap. In court filings, Diageo called itself a demonstrated champion of diversity and said that it was aware of a single instance of a label bubbling that was promptly addressed. They agreed to resolve all disputes between them. Mr. Combs has withdrawn all of his allegations about Diageo and will voluntarily dismiss his lawsuits against Diageo with prejudice, which means you can't try him again. You can't sue him again for the same damn thing. This is done. What comes out later, though, is that after the whole sexual assault thing and the whole turmoil that we're in right now that we're about to get into, Diageo bought out Mr. Combs' ownership in De Leon Tequila, paying him what seems to be a disclosed amount of $200 million for his 50% ownership of the tequila brand. So Whatever they had settled out of court, I don't know if there was a monetary value to it. I'm assuming he must have gotten paid something. But in the end, Diageo wins. They get back their money in the ownership of the tequila that, as they've said, generated at least $1 billion. Why do we bring that up, though? Well, it could be because, as I said earlier, people don't like it when certain groups shake the status quo. By the way, I should mention this is a conspiracy theory going around, right? I'm not saying this is what JLW believes. I'm just saying that let's just look at the timeline of what happens to Diddy, who's at the top of the world, who just received the key to New York City, right? Is taking photos with the mayor of New York City, posed up, saying, you're basically the king of this place. Well done. Great. You've made it from hip hop to king of New York. Major supplier, major corporation, billions of dollars in revenue. And Diddy came out after years of partnership that generated $1 billion and said, y'all are treating me unfairly. Pay me what I'm worth. Give me my seat at the table. In November 16th to be exact, 2023, Cassandra Ventura, also known as Cassie, comes out, and we can read it right here, files a legal complaint alleging years of sexual abuse, harassment, and rape during the relationship she entered in with Combs and remained in for years. Her case was filed under New York's Adult Survivors Act, which, if you don't know, it was enacted in May 2022, which amends state law to allow alleged victims of sexual offenses for which a statute of limitations has lapsed to file civil suits for a 1-year period from November 4th, 2022 to November 24th, 2023. Wow, it's almost like there was one more week left. No, it's not like. It literally is saying right here that there was basically like one more week left before that would have ended, and Cassie would have basically never been able to file this suit, and the rest would be history. We wouldn't be living in the world we live in now, where Diddy is on everybody's tongue. Maybe I shouldn't say that with Diddy. Maybe that's not where we want to be at. It's on everybody's mind. That's a little bit better place to put Diddy right now, right? May 2023. Diddy shakes the table. Settle. Undisclosed amount. November, week before the deadline of this Adult Survivors Act, Cassie files a lawsuit, basically alleging that Diddy, for years, had abused her sexually, had made her sleep against her will with male prostitutes for his enjoyment while he pleasured himself in the corner, had forced her to participate in what we now know as freak-offs, where a bunch of people, probably influential, came together, got butt naked, and had sex, again at Diddy's pleasure, possibly under drugs, some type of outside coercion. So they settled for this undisclosed amount. Cassie released a statement basically saying, I've decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. This was issued through her attorney, Douglas Wigdor, who said, I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support. One more time, let's say that again. So they settled for that undisclosed amount. Cassie releases a statement through her lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, saying, I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support. There are claims that Cassie's lawyer stated that Diddy had originally offered her 8 figures. We don't know the amount, 8 figures. A lot of money, not a little bit of money, to prevent her from filing her lawsuit, which she turned down. So I'm guessing whatever they settled on, it was more than the 8 figures he originally offered, right? This opens the floodgate to several other individuals stepping out and saying that Diddy had been doing some nasty ish with them too. A lawsuit from Joy Dickerson Neal, who accused him of misconduct in the 1990s, saying that the two of them went on a date when she was 19, seems to be a repeated pattern of individuals in powerful spaces liking to date young ass women. You've got all the money, the fame, and the attention you could possibly want. Literal women throwing their bodies at you. Grown women, fully grown, 21 and above, 25 and above, beautiful women. And yet all they can seem to care about is a 19-year-old who just got out of high school. I'll never understand it. The case alleges that Combs drugged and raped the teenager while videotaping the attack It's not the only one. It doesn't stop there. Combs, along with the singer Aaron Hall, was also accused of assaulting another female and then beating her up days later. Doesn't stop there. In December, like I said, the floodgates are open now. People saw that Cassie got her money. They want their comeuppance too. He's accused of a gang rape in 2003 where he allegedly drugged the accuser, who was 17 years old at the time. 2 other men have been accused in the same lawsuit. The alleged victim said it took place in a recording studio in 2003. These cases led to several relationship-ending moves for Diddy. One, he steps down from Revolt TV, no longer the chairman. Reality show on Hulu, dies, done. Brand partnerships, finito, over with. One, they could kind of toss off, ignore, hey, this is a person that we don't believe is telling the truth. Nobody knows the truth. There's no evidence, so we're just going to assume Diddy's fine. We're going to keep him on. 3 lawsuits, some nasty details. Suddenly people are like, okay, we got to back up, y'all. We got to take a break. Just when we thought it was all over, Diddy gets his slap on the wrist. We've moved on. We're thinking he's gotten his little public lashing. He'll go into the shadows, retreat for a few years, then he'll come right back out with a new Take That music video, some badass party with some beautiful women and great celebrities, and all will be forgiven. No. Little Rod drops his lawsuit right after the new year rings in, right after you're celebrating and you're drinking, you're having a good time. Little Rod, which is, I think, right off the Cat Williams thing, too, right? Did the Cat Williams interview happen in, like, January when he was like, all will be exposed this year? Man, he was like a prophet or something. Little Rock comes out and basically alleges a whole bunch of nasty things, including the whole sexual assault of minors, bringing minors to parties, drugging a bunch of people against their will. Little Rod himself being propositioned several times by him. I think he also included, Cuba Gooding Jr., a bunch of people. Says right here, Little Rod Jones, 14-month Odyssey living. Nope, that's not what he says. It says the 30-year-old says he was sexually assaulted, allegedly forced by Combs to engage in sex acts made to solicit sex workers, drugged, humiliated, and repeatedly groped. A lot of people again came out and were defending Diddy, saying this is a guy that we've never even heard of. Here's a guy who's jealous, bitter that he never took off in the way that he thought it was going to take off musically. Here's a guy who's looking for a paycheck. I think a lot of people were calling him pitiful, calling him broke bum. There are meaner words to say, but I'm trying to keep the pod PG right now. The problem that arises for Diddy at this point, though, which is interesting because I want to stop here too, why it happened and how it happened, is that shortly after everybody gets to read through all the salacious details in the Little Rod lawsuit, right after public sentiment is still on Diddy's side, celebrities, influential people are still on Diddy's side, we turn on our TVs and we watch a giant, massive wave of FBI agents storming, Homeland Security might have been there too, storming his residence in LA. Well, now that's a bad look. Doesn't matter how much you love him, how good he's been to you, how much you want to support him. National television showing FBI, possibly Homeland Security, running through your house looking for we don't know what, but the rumors are flying now. Oh, there's tapes. There's tapes of whatever was happening at the party, not the party, not the after party to the after party that the FBI is looking for. Nobody knows for sure at this point, but we're just speculating on what it is the FBI would want because everybody's saying the same exact thing. The FBI and Homeland Security would not show up to somebody's house unless there was something that they know for a fact was in there and they want it. Oh, okay. So it's getting worse, right? Now we're getting all kinds of conspiracy theories flying because not only are they raiding his house, but Diddy is seen outside. Wasn't he in Florida or something like that, right? Walking around, smiling again, seeming like nothing is bothering him. And then you've got his plane taking off. He's not on it. Nobody knows what's on this plane. Just we know his plane left one place, flew off to another place. That's a big deal, I think. Why is his plane taking off without him? At the time, it was just like, oh, that's weird. Maybe he's trying to throw off the feds into his location. I think that's what a lot of people were thinking. No, he was chilling at Miami, out there in public. So what the hell was on that plane? Where did it go and where did it drop off? We'll never know. We will literally never know. You might as well let that one go. His attorney, Aaron Dyer, comes out, says it's a gross overuse of military level force and it's an unprecedented ambush was paired with the advanced coordinated media presence. That's the part that I want to focus on for a second. Is I agree. It did seem very, very extra. It did seem highly publicized. It did seem like the cameras were told ahead of time, this is where you should stage. You should point your camera this way at this time for, I'm not going to tell you what reason, but I guarantee it's going to be a great shot for you. It just feels like if you were moving as a federal law enforcement agency and you didn't know for sure what it was you were after, you didn't know for sure if you were going to find anything, you'd want to keep it hush-hush when dealing with one of the biggest faces on the planet, most recognizable faces on the planet. Usually, okay, let's do small scale. A celebrity, hell, Justin Timberlake, just got in trouble in the Hamptons for driving DUI. Did we get a bunch of videos and press for that? No. Why? Because we know that certain law enforcement agencies handle celebrities and influential individuals with, a certain level of care and finesse and love and servitude. We try to keep things hush-hush as much as possible. When Matthew Perry died, it wasn't a bunch of cameras showing the jacuzzi that he had died in. Wasn't a bunch of cameras lined outside his house showing them come out with him in a body bag. No, we're trying to keep this hush-hush because we respect the level of fame, power, and influence and relationships that you have. Diddy's a billionaire. He's a billionaire, and yet, the moment FBI arrived on scene, I think we might have seen them pull up to the scene. We knew before FBI knew where they were going to be. Highly publicized. That's weird, right? It just seems a little weird. When did this start again? May 2020? Okay. Cool. Okay. And still, it doesn't seem like public sentiment has shifted to vilify the villain. Hate Diddy. Hate anybody associated with Diddy. This is a celebrity matter. We'll ooh and we'll ah and we'll move on. We thought. So at this point, Diddy is before he was just stepping down as chairman, right, from Revolt. He still owned part of Revolt, right? I'm no longer the face, but I'm still making the decisions. I'm still getting paid. Well, after the raids, Diddy ends up selling his shares of Revolt, and we have it here that nobody knows who he sold it to, but it was released that the company will remain black-owned. So, Byron Allen, who knows? But the point is, Diddy ends up having to sell his stake in Revolt TV after this, right? It just seems like a coordinated effort to take Diddy down. Like, it's like one slap. Okay, that didn't take him down. Two slap. Okay, that didn't take him. Three slap. That didn't take him down. Everybody go on. At the same time, we had one of the weirdest moments in this case, right? Where we had the image of the white kid who was picked up at the airport and was allegedly a drug mule for Diddy. Now things are getting juicy because we're talking about drugs. There were rumors of drugs at the parties, of people being drugged by Diddy at the party. Lil Rod had alleged it. I think Cassie had alleged it. We should note that in this case, I think this is when a lot of people were going like, uh-oh, there might be a lot more fire here than we initially thought. Where we was just smoke before, now we're starting to see some embers because they're thinking, why was it publicized that they picked up this kid? How is he connected to Diddy? His face is all over the place. Oh God, he doesn't look like he's got the strongest resolve when it comes to shutting down, clamping up, keeping everything hush-hush. So now people are worried for Diddy a little bit more because they're like, I'm talking about the people who are really in his corner, like, Diddy, you might want to double down on the lawyers, really tighten up the circle, because that kid, if he does know something, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to keep it from the feds for very long. So now we're moving into the May time frame, right? And in the May time frame, May of 2024, let's be clear of the timeline. In May of 2024, what do we have? Well, we have several things happening. First, we have Combs and his team asking for the lawsuits to be dismissed. They state that the rape of the 17-year-old girl that occurred in 2003 was false and hideous, and said that it was filed too late. Maybe just stick with the false and hideous and not be like, and if it did happen, it was a week too late for you to say anything. And I would just stick with it was false. All right. Lawyer says Mr. Combs and his companies categorically deny plaintiff's decade-old tale against them, which has caused incalculable damage to their reputations and business standing before any evidence has been presented. Plaintiff cannot allege what day or time of year the alleged incident occurred, but miraculously remembers other salacious details despite her alleged incapacitated condition. The filing asks that everything be dismissed now. Again, that word, with prejudice, meaning no longer can you go back and file the same charge against the same person. Diddy when I still feel like the public sentiment's mind was, if not a saint, not as, nobody's opinion fell of him. He was still the same guy. Those who knew what he really was had the same opinion, and those who didn't know what he really was had the same opinion. Nobody's really been swayed by all this messaging going on, and I think that pisses somebody off. I think that pisses off some really important people in some pretty strategic positions, because what occurs just 3 days after Sean, Puff Daddy, Love, Combs post the cryptic tweet, time tells truth. I'm sorry, not tweet, Instagram post. Time tells truth. Time tells truth. Got everybody scratching their heads. What happens 3 days later? The biggest bomb that could possibly infiltrate Diddy's world drops. We're talking about the assault video, Cassie's assault video, and we witness what we witnessed. We see Diddy beating the absolute shit out of Cassie. Apparently it's from 2016. CNN is breaking this exclusively. What happened 3 days before this? Time will tell. What do you say? Exact time tells truth. Everybody's thinking Diddy's gonna drop something or release something or say something that's going to put all of this to bed. Because again, at this point, a lot of people are going, all of you that are coming out after the Cassie thing are a bunch of vultures trying to, not even vultures, leeches trying to suck the successful black businessman. Y'all are jealous because of the success he's had. You could never, you would never, and now you want to take. Video drops. What does this do? What does this do, and why does it do it, and who wanted it done? Some people would say those questions don't matter because it exists. We clearly, clear as day, not AI, not doctored, saw Diddy chase down Cassie and beat the living shit out of her. Very clearly. There was no hiding it. HD. Played on CNN. How the hell CNN got it? Well, I mean, that's the question, right? It's $1 million question. What just happened a few days prior to this? Well, there was the raids. So one would believe, and we don't know why we keep it, they found this footage in the house. Well, then the question goes, well, who then released it? Well, whoever found the footage. Why would they release it? Well, it's a great question. Why would you release footage showing Diddy committing this heinous crime, especially if you know that you haven't charged him yet, but you plan to charge him? What's the motivation for releasing the video? Well, as I said, at this point, public sentiment is we're still defending Diddy. Sure, he stepped away from his companies. He sold stakes in his companies. He's retreated a little bit in the shadows. He's still posting Instagram photos. He's still saying that, you know, this is a witch hunt for me. Video drops, public sentiment immediately shifts. Every video, social media, content creator, radio host, TV show in the world is saying what a piece of shit Diddy is. I always knew he was a piece of shit. I remember when I went to the parties, I always looked at him like, you piece of shit. Hell, I remember when he invited me over to his video shoot, I looked at him and said, you piece of shit. Everybody was like, I've known for the longest time he was a piece of shit. Turned against him immediately. If the job of the video was to turn public sentiment against Diddy, well done. A+. It worked. Whatever the reasons, the video exists. The proof exists that he did the thing. So it doesn't matter why she chose to stay. We know that he was a monster. Beat the shit out of her. We can see it. You can't defend him anymore unless you yourself are saying, I condone this, support this, or excuse this. Which I want to say to this too. A lot of people, those that came out and just immediately started condemning, were also the same people at the parties. Were also the same people that were bringing them on their podcast, their radio shows, smiling at them. Y'all knew from the beginning. You've had several individuals now. You've had Don Richards. You've had, was it Aubrey? Both of them from Danity Kane. You had, or was it Audrey? Audrey or Aubrey? You've got, hell, I look at the Fabulous video where he was doing the drink champs and how uncomfortable the situation got.
See where I look back on where I became.
Did you miss me though? For real? Because I'm saying it seems like a thing.
I
with
miss
his birthday party,
Puff, man.
Man, but I'm talking about for your birthday.
Huh?
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party. You know what I'm saying? Eyes, brother,
Oh, man.
eyes.
to see him trying to like figure out, stumble through like his words of what do you mean we party? Clearly a man that's shaken by it. This man, Diddy, had Usher as a child.
That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying?
What the fuck did Puffy just say? My point being that everybody that's coming out at this point when the video drops and is like, I can't believe this was happening, and oh my God, if I had seen something, I would have said something. Oh, he never did it around me. Y'all are full of shit. You're all full of shit. You knew for a long time that he was doing it and you were scared, and it's okay to say you were scared. It's okay to admit that he was a very, 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 very powerful individual that could harm your career, could stop your career, could have you killed. Clearly, some of the stuff that's coming out now is, you know, he was behind the responsibility, he was behind deaths that had occurred. If we're to believe the rumors, you know, the whole Shine shooting, that was Diddy's doing. There was the whole Kid Cudi's car blowing up. That's Diddy's doing. I don't even want to get into the Biggie situation, but the point is, this man runs around with individuals who are known to do work. And so I can see why, especially if you're a civilian and you're just trying to live. I'm just trying to put food on the table for my family. I'm getting along. I'm playing along to get along. You had to shut up. So it makes sense that you wouldn't say anything, but don't come out now and be the, hey, I'm championing domestic disputes, and say, if you see something, say something. If I did see something, I would have said something, and oh my God, it's so wrong what he did. Y'all knew. There was a response from his attorney, and I think this is a gross response to even read, but we're going to read it. He basically tried to not even discredit what happened. He basically admitted that obviously what happened, and then says, we find the images extremely disturbing and difficult to watch. If the conduct depicted occurred in 2016, unfortunately, we would be unable to charge, as the conduct would have occurred beyond the timeline where a crime of assault can be prosecuted. Statute of limitations thing, right? Basically the whole reason that Cassie didn't come out for all the time, statute of limitations is passed. Diddy comes out, makes it worse. Does that whole damn apology video. I'm not even just...
I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Lawsuits are just raining down from the sky at this point because everybody's got beef with Diddy. Everybody's got a story to tell about Diddy, and there's a lot of thoughts about that. Just a whole bunch of thoughts. But let's go to one of the biggest stories. Is that in this month right here, September 2024, you have Dawn Richards. You know Dawn Richards. She's 1/4 of, is it 4 of them? How many members were in Danity Kane? I remember her groups, right? Girl groups, 5 members. That makes sense. Yeah, fine. Okay, so there are 5 members in Danity Kane. So she's 1/5 of the girl group Danity Kane, which was a major pop R&B type group that, you know, I think was cut short of its prime. I think it should still be, they should still be selling records and doing numbers. Great girl group. Anyway, she comes out and she files a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, says that he was responsible for verbal abuse, assault, sexual battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The complaint basically read as he was hot-tempered, who routinely engaged in physical violence over the course of a decade. She claims that Combs manipulated her by suggesting that the only way for her career to advance would be by heeding his demands. She didn't feel comfortable releasing this lawsuit until Cassie Ventura came forward with hers. Also said that she then joined a new group that seems to be called Diddy Dirty Money. And on the first day of recording, she arrived at Diddy's house and Cassie was there frying eggs. Appearing to be high on drugs, he approached Cassie and screamed, "I've been asking you for my shit. I can't stand you, bitch. You never do right." And then he allegedly choked her and threw the hot pan of eggs at her. He then told Richard and Harper, which I'm guessing 2 members of this new group, that if you say anything, there will be consequences and that people end up missing. She said that she regularly witnessed Sean Diddy Combs and other people violating incapacitated young women at parties. While in New York for a festival, she saw Diddy grab Cassie's neck inside a car, pull her out onto the grass, and choke her while yelling, "You're gonna get fucked up today." In 2010, she said that Diddy punched Cassie in the face at a Los Angeles party, and right afterwards, the 2 members of this gang, this band tried to intervene and help Cassie escape the relationship. And Diddy found out about it and apparently told them, y'all bitches don't get in my relationship and you could be missing and you bitches want to die today. Also, one of the super notable things that came out of this was that, you know, Dawn alleged that I guess alleged at this point because I wasn't there, I don't know, but that people at this party saw what was happening to Cassie, and those people included CEO of Interscope, Jimmy Iovine, who, if you listen to Eminem or 50 Cent, you've heard his name mentioned a bunch of times, Neo, and Usher. That they were there, they witnessed it, they saw it. Okay. Going back to what I said before. Clearly, with a face, a name like Diddy, and Cassie, and their relationship, and the publicity behind it, and the people who want to be in their circle, everybody knew. Everybody knew. Don't let these celebrities come out here and lie to you. They all knew. If they were in a circle, if they were at his parties, if you find footage of them at his 40th or whatever, and they're in the background, they knew. They knew. Nobody was walking through the party like this. Nobody was doing this shit right here, bro. You knew. I appreciate the honesty. I'll take the honesty over, I was like this in the party. I don't know. I wasn't looking over at the party. I was looking at my drink. So now we get to September 16th, 2024, right? Diddy's arrested. Probably the biggest news of the day. Which is crazy because I don't feel like a lot of news outlets were really reporting on this. Well, maybe MSNBC, CNN. I didn't see too much on the right reporting on this, which I would think they would love this. But he's arrested in New York. Apparently, he had flown to New York under good faith to fight the alleged crimes that he was being charged with, which we didn't know what the crimes were at this point. We just knew that he showed up to a hotel in New York and ended up walking out of the hotel in handcuffs. And apparently there's video. I tried to find it and it had been taken down, but there's handcuffs. There's video of Homeland Security. I think it's Homeland Security. Some cops showing up, surprising Diddy and his team, putting handcuffs on him, leading him out. His attorney came out and said, to his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Here's the problem, and this is what I said about whoever is behind this, which I guess suggests that I believe that somebody is behind this, played their hand when that video leaked of the raid. Not of the raid, I guess that's not a leaked video, but it played in the media of the raid, and also when the video of Cassie getting her ass beat leaked. Because say what you want about, oh, I'm non-partial and I can judge fairly and I'll wait until the facts come out. You've already tainted the world. The world has seen the monster that he's been. You can't see Diddy whoop on that woman like that and go, he's innocent, a good guy. Underneath all that, there's a good heart. No, which is why this is the perfect setup. This is the perfect layup. Everything that's happened, when you think about where we started in the beginning of this time, that's where we're at now, it has been almost perfectly laid out for this moment right here where he's arrested. And then we get the creme de la creme, the charges, what he's being charged with. Well, what is he being charged with? Federal prosecutors unsealed the indictment the morning after Diddy's arrest, revealing that the music mogul was accused of running a racketeering conspiracy that included sex trafficking, forced labor, bribery, and more. Going on for decades, Sean Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees' resources and the influence of his multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled. Let's go back to the racketeering charges. I've heard a lot of people, I've never had to deal with racketeering charges. I don't know anybody in my family that's dealt with racketeering charges. I don't know anybody personally that's dealt with racketeering charges. What I do know is when I watch people talk about racketeering charges, they tense up. Some of the toughest dudes in the world seem to go, I'd rather be charged for murder. Why is that? Well, one, I mean, obviously federal. Big dogs are coming for you now. The ones with acronyms are after you. But two, it doesn't just affect you. When that racketeering thing gets thrown around, your business, whatever it is that you've invested your time, energy, effort into, is looked at as the crime or facilitator of the crime. Racketeering means that Sean, Puff, Diddy, Love, Combs, the brand is a criminal outfit, is a mob, is something that can be seized, taken, and become the property of the government. And everybody involved, your assistant, your secretary, your doorman, security guard, everybody that we can tie into, now they're all fair game. We're bringing all of them in and saying, if you don't cooperate with me, you're facing these this time in federal prison. We got a little bit more here because you have the magistrate judge who Diddy's legal team said, hey, he came to New York on good faith to fight these charges. He's not a flight risk. We've already submitted or given up our passports. We can't go nowhere. We're willing to put up a $50 million, hear that, process it, let it sink in, $50 million for his bail. What does the magistrate court judge say? No, let him sit in jail. Okay, well, let's not panic just yet, because the magistrate judge can recommend this, but he's not the actual judge that will be handling this trial. So the next day, we need to take this information to the actual trial judge. $50 million, again, let that sink in, soak in, process it. $50 million, judge, we'll put it up right now for bail. No. Oh, shit. Oh, we in trouble. I mean, I don't care how great of a legal team you are. A little bit of your butt cheeks got to be puckered up. A little bit. Just a little bit, right? Like, if you were to fart, it'd be a whistle. $50 million. $50 million, and the government said no. The government needs money. I don't know if y'all checked, but the deficit is what trillion? They didn't want it. Why? Why do they want Diddy sitting up in jail? I mean, we could do the conspiracy theory thing. One, it just looks better for your case if the man that you're going to say is doing these terrible things to people sits up in jail. That image, you can sell that image. Speaking of selling that image, what did they leak to the press? What was it that was reported that they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant is pertinent information to nobody? First of all, I don't even know if I believe that number. Who the hell has 1,000 bottles of baby oil anywhere? I don't care how much orgies you like. Baby oil, squirt, and that's gonna last you for the day. You don't need that much. A baby oil, one bottle can last you for a year. I don't know if you use baby oil. If you, my complexion, my skin color, you've used baby oil before, and I'm telling you, you put it on once, you feel sticky, it's all over you, you're good. Why would they publish that they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant? Because somebody wants you to know that Diddy is a dirty, freaky, nasty man. Who, though, wants you to know that? Why is that the number we are publicizing? What is it? What is it that I'm trying to frame for you? Now, and I want to be clear when I keep saying this, that the fact of the fact is the fact, right? These things happen. Diddy is a dirty person. Diddy was, at this point, we still have to say allegedly, raping people, drugging people against their will, and just doing some overall foul shit. But I also want to separate that part from freak-offs. I don't see anything wrong with a man who enjoys sex wanting to invite a bunch of his friends who also enjoy sex to a house party and getting it off. Me personally, do I want to be in a room with 100 other men and 100 other women getting it on? No, sounds smelly, sounds sweaty, sounds like the person that I'm interested in, I got to watch them get F'd, and it's just not going to be a good time for me. But I don't judge you if that is your thing. And I don't think it's a crime that I've seen, not yet. You can do that. If you like to get off with other people, then get off with other people. That's not illegal. Hell, owning 1,000 bottles of baby oil is not illegal, or lubricant. Do what you do. It's your house. It's your business. It's your money. You're a billionaire. If you want baby oil, I can think of a whole lot worse things that billionaires do with their money than buy baby oil. Again, why do they promote that? Because it makes Diddy look a type of way. I want to paint Diddy like I paint R. Kelly, like I paint Bill Cosby. I want to get your guys' minds already in the mindset of guilty, even though it's supposed to be proven innocent until guilty. Who wants that? I don't know. When did this start? Anyway. So look, I guess I'm saying all that to say, pay attention to what's going on outside right now, y'all. And I'm not just talking about the Diddy thing or what's happening to our black icons, which admittedly a lot of it self-induced. But protect yourselves and your families. And your kids. God, please protect your kids. World is getting weird and weirder, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. Most importantly, regardless of how you felt about what I've said, form an opinion, have something to stand on. Because if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. You like how I keep tying that into the title? That's going to be the new sign off. All right. I'll see y'all in the next episode.
Go